Okay, friends, so for this experiment, we will need a spinning color wheel. So you can either make a spinning wheel yourself using the directions I am about to explain to you, or you can just follow along the experiment with me. Skip ahead in this video to see me demonstrate the experiment with the color wheel that I have not made yet. But if you are making a spinning color wheel, you will need a piece of cardboard, a bowl or any other round object to trace, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet coloring utensils, a white piece of paper, a pencil, a ruler or straight edge, scissors, and a nice long piece of string, floss, or even shoelaces tied together will work just fine. So if you have all of those materials and want to follow along, first what you're going to do is you are going to take your cardboard and your round object. I'm using a larger cereal bowl, but also any small mug would work. It depends on how big you want your color wheel to be. So I'm going to place this in the middle of my paper and carefully trace using my pencil. So I'm going to take my pencil, make sure it's straight up and down so that circle comes across even. And I am going to trace around the circumference of my bowl. There. And I'm making sure the pencil is straight up and down and not tilted like this because that will make sure that my circle turns out nice and even. There we are. And then I will do the same thing on my white sheet of paper. So I'm taking my bowl. If it's glass, make sure you have adult supervision and you ask. And I'm going to keep my pencil straight up and down and trace around my entire bowl. There we go. And now we do not need this bowl anymore, and I will place it to the side. So there's my circle. Now what we need to do is we need to do our best to find the exact center of the circle. So this is one trick that I like to do to try to find the exact center of the circle. I'm going to take my ruler or any straight edge, and then I'm going to make a bunch of lines straight across my circle, trying to find the widest points of the circle. So it's not over here, but in the exact center to estimate exactly where that middle is. I'm going to make sure that my lines are nice and light because I will probably end up coloring over them. So let's see. Actually, if I measure it, how many centimeters across? It's 17.5 centimeters, 17 6/10 of a centimeter. 17 6/10 of a centimeter. So I'm going to look at all of the places where the circle is 17 6/10 of a centimeter across. So that is too wide. Let's see, could that possibly be? There we go. There, and I will make another line right there. There we go. So those are just two, and I'm estimating that the center is right here, but I'm going to keep making some more lines because the more lines I make, the more accurate my results will be, just like in real science. So there you go. That was 17.6 centimeters. So you can already see that now my estimation is more around this triangle. And again, the more lines I make, the more accurate my estimate will be. So there we go. A fourth line. Maybe we'll make 10. Fifth. Sixth. 17th. It's 6 again, looking for the widest point. 6. Ooh. Okay, so there's a bunch of lines there. A bunch of lines there, a bunch of lines there. 6. Let me see. Seven. Where do I not have any lines at all? Making sure that all these lines we're estimating are hopefully in the exact center of our circle. And again, this is tricky to eyeball, so that's why we're just doing it a bunch of times. 8. Let me do 2 more. 9. 10. Okay. Woo. Okay. So that one was clearly off. That was a bad estimation. Okay, so now I'm looking at where all of these lines are converging, and I'm looking for where there are the most lines converging on one point to try to estimate the exact middle. So there are a bunch of lines right there. There are a lot of lines right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see. I think that the center is kind of right there. There we go. So I looked at where all of those lines were converging, and then I made a dot. That's the average of where all of those dots are. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out my circle, flip to the other side, and that is actually where I'm going to make 6 different sections in my pie and make each of those one color of the rainbow. So I'm carefully cutting out this circle. And then I will show you how to split this into 6 even sections as best as we can, because we are humans, not robots. Okay, beautiful. There we go. So actually, you know what? I can fold this in half. Maybe I should have just done that first. Oh my goodness. That works better. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna fold this in half. And then this part needs to be in 3 sections. So let me see, how can I fold this so that it becomes 3 even sections? Because if I do that, that's quarters. That's not what I want. Ah, okay. So if I fold up that way, that's another way to do this. And make sure all of those are even. And it's 3 even sections. Oh my goodness, that works so much better. There we go. Well, there you go. You also learned the ruler trick. That's just a good one to have in your toolkit, regardless of whether you use it today. Okay, so you can see what I just did to split this into thirds, this half circle into thirds. I folded up once this corner, up to this corner, and then I carefully folded this side so that it perfectly matches up with this edge right here. And that's going to make it so this is in 6 equal sections. All right, there you go. Now I'm going to color each of these one color of the rainbow. Okay, so you can see that I finished coloring my circle. I cut it out, and I also finished cutting out the cardboard circle. So now all you have to do is take your paper circle and glue it on top of your cardboard circle using a glue stick or liquid glue. So I will take my liquid glue, go around the entire circumference of my circle, make some lines in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4 should be fine. And then I am going to glue down my paper circle. I'll make sure that that sticks and it stays nice and flat so it looks nice. There we go. Okay, so now we need to make 2 holes for the string to go in. Oh, but wait, I forgot to cap my glue stick. That's very important. I will cap my glue stick. And now we will make 2 holes. I'm going to make the holes a little off center. So you can see that I made 2 little dots, one between red and orange and another between blue and green. They're probably about 1/2 centimeter away from the center with 1 centimeter in between them. And that is where I will put my string through. Please make sure that you are very precise with this part, because if you're a little off center, then your circle is going to wobble when you try to spin it. So you can use a pencil, a push pin. Actually, I'm just going to use this pin that's on my lab coat to make 2 small holes for your string to go through that are right next to each other. So there's 1. Oop, perfect. And 2. I'm making sure they're the exact same distance from the center. Again, they should be about 1 centimeter apart. There we are. I will put my pin to the side for now. And then I'm going to take my string. I made a nice long string. The longer your string is, that's the oven. My brioche is ready. You are going to take your string and place it, thank you, and place it into your holes. Ooh, I'm having trouble getting it into my hole, so I'm going to take my push pin again. And I'm going to use my push pin to stick my string into the hole. And the longer your string is, the better. Again, if you don't have string, shoelaces will totally work. Just make sure that the holes are big enough. And if you want to tie several shoelaces together, maybe from some old shoes you're not using right now, that would work fine. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am going to probably pause the video here. Let's see. I need to make these a little bit wider, but I'm probably gonna pause the video and just do this on my own so you don't need to sit and watch me try to get this string through these holes. But if you're having trouble, just make it a little bit wider. Okay, hold on one second. Woo! Okay, that was surprisingly difficult. So if you are having trouble, you might want to make your hole wider. I actually ended up getting a twisty tie from a loaf of bread and using that to put my string in. It will be easier or harder depending on what you are using. If you're using a shoelace, actually, it will be pretty easy because of the thing that's on the tip of the shoelace. So once you get your string in, however you got your string in, you are going to pull it all the way through and then tie it on the opposite end right here in a double knot. So I am going to tie it once and twice. Okay, and now your spinning wheel is actually complete. And I would like you, if you made this, to please leave this side blank because we will be making a second spinning wheel or just the surface of the second side of the spinning wheel in 2 weeks for our next experiment. So what you can do to get your spinning wheel to spin so that we are mixing all of the colors of light and not the actual matter itself is spin this as fast as we possibly can. So before we do that, let's compare it to our control, the spinning wheel just still. I want you to think about what is happening to the photons in the room. I have light coming in through the window. I have light coming in from this lamp right above my head. The photons from that light, that is white light, is coming in and bouncing off of each section of my color wheel. And so the light white comes in. When it bounces off of the yellow section, yellow light bounces back. When it bounces back at the green section, green light reflects or bounces back. When it bounces onto the red section, red light is reflecting back. So I want you to think back again to all of the different wavelengths of light. So think about all of the different wavelengths of white lights that are hitting my color wheel. And then the largest wavelengths, the red ones, are bouncing back, making this appear red. And the smallest wavelengths of light at the highest frequency are bouncing off of this purple section of my color chart, making it appear purple. So think about how all those photons are acting now, going straight back at you. And now we are going to spin our color wheel to see what happens. So what you're going to do is you are going to put in one finger on this end, one finger on the opposite end, and then you're just going to start turning it, boop, like so. And then once it's wound really tight, and you're just going to pull so that it spins. So let's see if we can get this going fast enough for it to turn the color. I'm trying to get it to turn. And if you look in the center, it'll actually be easier. There we go, that was fast enough. So again, this is a tricky experiment. And again, if you had a long string, that will make it easier to get it to spin fast enough for it to turn. Ooh, I saw it for a second. Did you see it turn white? For it to turn white. Oh, wow. And that's making a sound too. Holy moly. And at certain points, whoa. Oh, that's interesting. So it looks different in real life than it does on the video. Because in real life, it's looking white at sometimes, maybe a little bit purple. And on the video, all the colors are actually separating out into this weird rainbow, which is interesting. So you know what? I'm going to link another version of this as well before you write your conclusions so you can see a different science teacher also demoing this experiment so that you can write your conclusions. But that was interesting. So what happened? was in real life when I was looking at this color wheel, when it was going really, 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 really fast, all of the colors actually turned white. So right now, I want you to think about why that would happen. Why would the photons, instead of bouncing straight, when all the photons get mixed and blended together, would they suddenly appear white? And that will help you write really strong conclusions using claim, evidence, reasoning. So what you're going to do right now is you are going to record your data from this experiment in a labeled scientific drawing and in words, either in your science notebook or directly into the Google Documents. Then you are going to watch one more video that I will link before the conclusion before you write your claim, evidence, and reasoning. Again, you can either write your claim, evidence, reasoning, and optional connection directly into your science notebook, or you can simply fill out the template where I have lots and lots of sentence starters that I think will be very useful. I actually do recommend using the template because I think that those sentence starters will help you a lot. If you want to do both, since you have 2 entire weeks to do that, that is perfectly fine as well. So I hope that you have fun making your color wheel. I hope that you are able to make it spin really fast so that you could see it is white in real life. And for those of you who do not have the materials, please do not fret because I will link an additional video where you can see all of the photons of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, all of those different wavelengths blending together to create white. All right, friends, have fun. Bye.